Earlier this week, the Jaguar of Ostender, also known as Benji Naesen, decided to openly criticize both myself and Joe Tims, or Tim Soski, on Twitter following a Zwift ride. The real story, however, is a tad different from what he said, and I felt like addressing this before people started to get used in the whole Benji propaganda. Before everything, I do want to point out that Benji and I are in good terms, but I cannot let him slander my name and my image with the sole intention of getting Twitter interactions and clicks and likes in what is an ever-growing Twitter account right now. I believe he reached 20,000 followers, which to this day still baffles me. But that is besides the point. The Zwift ride took place on Monday with Benji, Joe, and myself. Throughout the ride, we all stayed somewhat together, with Joe and I taking the entirety of the relays, Benji never taking a single turn, thus getting the nickname of Michael Matthews. Joe and I rode away for the first sprint, with Benji staying behind, blaming technical difficulties. Now, however, I do not believe that was the case because the latter performance from Benji makes me potentially think that he used ketones in his water. As we were getting ready for the final sprint, there was some confusion between Joe and I as to when we should launch the sprint. We did so way too late, and with the latency on Zwift, we launched with around 100 meters left, whereas Benji launched with 200 meters left to go. Therefore, it was for Joe and I inevitable that we would lose to the Jaguar of Ostender. Adding to that, the fact that we paced for a whole 20 kilometers with Benji never taking a single turn, never giving us protection. It was basically a walk in the park for the Belgian. A walk in the park, but not a fair one. And in no way, shape or form should have that battle resulted in a tweet attacking, or at least mocking, both Joe and I. Finally, I have one last detail of this story to mention. Benji has been daily Zwifting for the past 4 months, whereas Joe has ridden occasionally on Zwift, and in my case, it was my first ever time getting back on a bike in more than 2.5 years. Adding to that, the fact that my morphology, I am 5'7" and barely 120 pounds, which is 1 m for just 60 kgs. I do not exactly fit the profile of a sprinter. Nevertheless, out of fairness, out of generosity, and you could say out of respect for Benji, I am willing to yet again defy him in a sprint. A challenge, in a way, if you wish, but this time, no Zwift. Real life. 1v1v1. Benji, Joe, and myself. No delays, no latency, no technical difficulties, just the legs and your bike. Consider this an invitation to a challenge, Benji. Obviously, final thing, do not send hate to Benji, as I believe this was a mistake on his end, and I hope I will get the adequate response to this challenge, that being a yes. Thanks for watching.